never seen anything like that before in American governance.
Do Black Lives Matter or do all lives matter?
Absolutely, Tucker. I've seen your show. I know you're fair.
Well, I try to be fair.
But the House Intelligence Committee is not impartial on the Russia investigation.
We'll go on Hannity and pretty much only Hannity.
All my Democratic friends have completely lost their sense of humor, complaining about Trump and wanting to get impeached. My Republican friends have lost their sense of humor, arguing with them. Everybody's watching, Fox News or CNN.
Do you have times where you feel low on energy? Do you feel like you just can't go on anymore? Well, you should try out Nitro Herbal Energy Drink. It's infused with 3 herbs and 2 vitamins to give you the best quality energy drink your body can handle. To order it, call 1-314-485-9294.
We're all stars now in the dope show.
Okay, so here's the thing. You make a good point. You brought up Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin, that is such a unique case, as well as this new one that we're talking about, where it really irks me because, what was his name? George Zimmerman?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Maybe it's because you and me have more of a security background than most people. We'll keep it tame like that, okay? Where we were taught about excessive force, levels of force, and all this other stuff. And we have seen over the period of time we did our stuff where you have gung-ho people like George Zimmerman who had no place, business, or legal thing to be doing what he did to put himself into that predicament. And it doesn't matter about racism or whatever the fuck it was. It went down to cause and effect. He did something he was not supposed to do, and he got himself into a messed up situation, and it ended up really crappy. Now, am I alone in this one? I'd like to know.
Okay, so like the thing about it is yes, the messed up part is he was able to stop what he was doing, walk away, go get a weapon, and come back and shoot at the child. And still, they called it stand your ground.
No. Are we talking about the Zimmerman case?
I'm talking about the Zimmerman
Trayvon?
case. Zimmerman case, yeah.
Okay.
But when it comes,
because let's start from the beginning real quick because I want to make sure I'm not in the wrong area. He was a neighborhood watch guy, right?
Yeah.
He sees Trayvon Martin and some other kids supposedly vandalizing or just running around causing suspicious activity, right?
Yeah.
And then he pursues them as if he was a cop. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So then you said at one point he actually leaves to get a weapon and comes back?
Yeah, like he stops what he's doing, gets pissed off, goes and gets his weapon, and shoots the kid.
Yeah, because didn't he like in the vehicle he said, "You guys need to stop doing this," and there was like a verbal altercation between the two?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what made him get his fucking weapon?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
okay, so then what?
It was the whole like.
What kind of like crime happens in this neighborhood?
Well, apparently, I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue was that your boy got
has something to do with it, because if he's a neighborhood person and he felt the inclination to get a weapon because of a verbal altercation, the reason why they have a neighborhood watch is because crime must be going up. So this verbal altercation
not all the time.
Must be something that triggered Zimmerman to do an unspeakable act. You see what I'm saying?
I don't think that. Yeah, that's that. I don't think we should just throw it there, and make it that easily for him, because like we live in St. Louis, but a verbal altercation, we get those all the time. That don't mean we go back and just let me go get this shotgun real quick. I'll be right back. But for this case, he honestly felt like this kid was a serious threat on his entire personhood. That's utterly ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. It's the same thing with with all of these cops that end up getting away with murdering people or whatever. and it's the whole like, oh well, they were just so.
That's a
it's like,
different topic.
oh my god, I'm so.
Less
But even
because right now I want to talk about civil on civil action versus cop on civil action.
Well, civil action on civil action, we ended up getting like there was another case that I told you and heard about outside. I told you that there was a guy who enacted the stand your ground law, and the courts denied it, and the appeal was also denied 2 days ago. But the situation was cut and dry. Stand your ground, and I'll send that information to you when we get a chance to talk again.
Mm-hmm. No, and you can do all the studies. You can look all that stuff up. The stand your ground thing is weird because in today's society, and this is one of the points I wanted to make. In today's society, we have a weird hodgepodge of prejudice. You know, I don't even know if that's the right word, but
no, it isn't. But that's fine.
Because the one that sparked all this was the incident in Florida. I forgot, was it Clearwater, Florida, where the family parked in a handicapped parking spot. The dad and the kid go in the grocery store. Another car pulls up. Older gentleman starts complaining about you're in a handicapped parking spot. The guy comes out, shoves the guy, he hits the ground, the guy just pulls out a gun and shoots him. Now, if you're reading it, you're like, that I can see where excessive force might be. But then when you watch the video, you're in a whole different light. Because, in my opinion, based on my first thing I said in the beginning of this episode was, we've been kind of a security background. We've been taught common sense of excessive force and levels of violence, and this was inappropriate. It doesn't matter about that law, because you look at this and you go, okay, but the guy clearly shows on camera he was not aggressive towards the guy on the ground after he pushed him.
Right.
Now, granted, the guy should have never pushed him. That was excessive. I get it. But when you pull out a deadly force weapon, that changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
He did not, because he didn't hesitate. He pulled and shot. He didn't say, get away from me, or stay back, or get out of here, I'm calling the cops. Anything that I think a common person would do to resolve a situation. No, that guy had something he wanted to do. He had an agenda. He wanted to shoot someone.
Yeah, he had an agenda.
Now, if it's racial, that's another thing too, because it was an old white guy who shot a black man who pushed him. Now, it's bad to say these things because the racial thing does play a huge part in this.
Only because from everybody speculating and things like that, he'll get off on it.
Well, that's the thing. He hasn't been charged. That's the thing that's giving you upper. And me, even as a St. Louis person, is looking at this going, dude, he just shot him. It's cut and dry. He needs to go to jail or suffer the same fate, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because there was no, you know what I'm saying? There was no other levels he took. He went straight to the top one, and I think that was inappropriate. I think it was not inappropriate, uncalled for, and a life got lost over this.
Yeah, and that's terrible.
And that was the one thing. So I was talking to my stepdad about this, and he goes, well, the bad thing about this is, Paul, is that all of us are going to agree to it. So you're going to be talking about this on the show, and everyone's going to agree. So I see now what he's saying, because you're like, yeah, I do.
Everybody's going to agree that it's terrible.
Now, here's the point, and it's not that's...
The nuance is probably what we'll disagree about.
Yes, that's what I'm hitting at. Because, see...
Yeah.
Right now, it's rough because when it comes to violence, everyone thinks it's evil white man versus evil world, or whatever you want to say. Because I'm a little uncomfortable with saying white on black or black on white. I am, because I'm a bald-headed white guy with a long goatee. I fit every horrible description of white people.
Pretty much.
And I'm not, but
that's so terrible. We're like watching the video now.
Oh, so watch it, and it's fucking insane.
Yeah, we're watching it now. It's terrible. Like
in
the
today's
dude is
world-
like holding his chest.
Yeah. And when he runs inside, God, that's heartbreaking. Because he looked like
imminent death.
Here's the thing. Man, the way he reacted when the guy was yelling at his wife, I get it. I'm scared that if I was in that role, I would probably push the guy too. Not that much.
I don't know. I'd probably push him too. I mean, he's an older gentleman. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here like lightly shoved. No, I'm going to push him off.
But my thing is this: the reaction the dad took was, for the most part, appropriate. Now, it looked like he really shoved the fuck out of him, but
I mean, no, he's just an old man. Dude fell straight down because he's just old. Like,
my thing is this, and a lot of people agree to that too, like you just said. And I'm sorry for overriding this, but or overriding you talking. But it looks like a normal thing that would happen in a weirder circumstance.
It's what happened afterwards that wasn't normal. It was like, well, I'm about to just dude, and like he definitely had an agenda.
Yeah.
And the messed up part is this guy has a history of doing the exact same thing.
That's what I heard later. He's a fucking guy who wants to, patrol the streets for handicap parkers. But coming from the whole world of nowadays, it's always for some reason a racial motivated thing, because media has really pushed that so much about how it's nothing but white people hate black people. And that's why I said I feel uncomfortable about talking about this, but I think it needs to be said that it's not really like that in the real world. I mean, it has a lot of stuff to do with it, but in reality it is that the normal working class people just do their shit and go the fuck home. We don't care.
Yeah.
And when you have these things getting so extreme in the media, everything that everyone works for just normacy and going about your day is all ruined because a white guy shot a black guy blatantly for a reason. He wanted to shoot someone. If it was racially motivated, it fucking blatantly showed on that one. And all the work we did to like try to stop all that stuff from those connotations that this is go out the window.
Remember when I told you we was talking about stuff like this, and the first thing I said was people haven't really paid attention. Except when it was during the OJ trial, and because somebody on the LAPD during that trial made it a racial issue when they didn't need to be, and you saw that show that it was he misspoke, but him misspeaking caused the entire thing to be a racial something that had to do with it made the entire murder racial. And OJ got off on it, and like the entire nation was split. Like, white people were somber, black people were celebrating. It was like, whoa! Like,
it was funny because I remember hearing the verdict when I was going to school and I was driving. I was at a 4-way stop, and when I heard it, like I was not that. I just was like, and just kept driving because I think, okay. I'm not gonna. I know Trump is a very controversial subject, but he does say a good point. We're the forgotten ones. We're the working class. We're the ones who actually go out and make money for people to spend their taxes with. So, it makes sense that like real people just don't care, about some of those things.
Like, in order for people to push a certain agenda, they have to find a way to make people care, and it's stuff like I forget what because I was watching this thing about a person named Roy Moore, and I was looking at stuff about him and how there was this girl that tried to do a rape allegation about him, and they found out that she was really an actor for some Republican website and blah blah blah, but they have to make us care about certain stuff when we really don't. Like, for some reason, people still care about what the fuck the Kardashians are fucking doing, and the OJ trial is long over with.
And you're right. Even though the OJ trial was over with, when all that stuff came out on Netflix and everything for the anniversary, oh my god, you know how much ratings they got from that?
That show was so good.
Yeah. because we still care.
So good.
Like you said, they sold us on this, and we're invested, and we're watching.
Right, like so many cool things happened during that trial. Like fucking what was it? Domino's or Pizza Hut got a crap ton of money because they were just chucking pizzas out left and right during that whole OJ trial.
Yeah.
And like just seeing one car on a highway being chased by the cops, and then the cops not trying to like do anything because they know it's a celebrity, you know, and he's a football celebrity too, so he's got a crap ton of like traditional American, you know, values in him, and it's like, what is going on? So he might have made some people, whoever, and you got people everywhere on his side, and it's like, dude,
that's a great topic for another show, like. Because
I would love to.
Celebrities, or I'm sorry, sports figures, and how they're just real humans versus like what we make them out to be.
I would love to, because then we could talk.
Because of what?
LeBron just opened up a school, and Trump hates him.
Why does he hate LeBron?
Because LeBron spoke out on what Kaepernick was doing.
Okay, well, let's do that for another show. This one I really like. So. Let's get back to this one. So, yeah, the white-black thing was one we talked about. Now, let's push to the other one. Does this make people want to have more gun laws? Because I've noticed that they don't want to charge people, or they don't want to follow through with the criminal activities that the people use with guns illegally. They don't want to punish them for doing their gun stuff illegally. So they just enact more laws. So does that break down this too when we get back to this shooting in Florida? Because he just pulled out and shot. There was no stopping or anything. When you take classes for CCW and all that stuff and how to handle a gun, they go through all that.
Yeah.
In six, you have to do like so many hours of it. So does that ruin that stuff too?
Like, does it ruin the sanctity of like taking the classes and stuff?
No, I meant as in, is it going to produce more gun laws that are meaningless and will mean nothing when someone breaks the law by using gun laws illegally? You know what I mean? Breaking the gun law, no one gets penalized for it. They just make more laws. And now I'm saying is everything they were working on to try to fix that is broken now because this guy took no care in the world. He just shot a gun.
Well, to make really good of gun laws, they'd have to be able to investigate the NRA.
What? No. What I'm talking about is the gun laws against citizens, not NRA. I'm talking about like, you know, everybody wants to make more restrictions about how to get a handgun and all this other stuff because they can use the argument that this guy was nuts and he should have never had a gun. So let's make more laws so that people hopefully won't get guns.
Yeah, but what says he was? I mean, what says he was nuts? He was definitely in his right mind.
I'm just saying how politically this can cascade down and destroy any work of restructuring or making or fixing or whatever what we're trying to stop. Because it's just everyone just wants to argue. It feels like. Do you get what I'm saying now?
Like I think I'm understanding that it's just like, what do you want to happen? When it comes to if this has anything, first of all, no, because I mean it's a handgun. It wasn't a mass shooting. Him saying, oh well, he might be crazy. No, him being crazy, yeah, but you know that just goes back to what we talked about last time, which was don't give them the option to do stuff like that. So I mean, should he have a gun?
What I'm saying is that this particular incident could cascade and unfold into a lot of stuff, and you're really robotic. Is he really robotic or is it just me? I don't even hear him. I like that. Cupcake says, people will argue about bunnies if they had nothing else to argue about. KRL, I can't hear you, buddy.
Alright, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Okay, cool. Alright.
I think, like, if they do, it'll be about age.
Yeah, because remember that old guy shot up the theater.
Yeah.
Remember that? And he wasn't crazy. He was an ex-cop.
Yeah.
He just had an inclination to do it. So, but what I'm saying is that was another point that I was going to make. You know, the fight against all these gun laws could get worse because this incident ruined it for everyone. This incident ruined the whole, you know, maybe fixing the whole white hating blacks thing. And, I don't know. And then with media, that's what I'm saying. Media can spin this so many ways. Even if the cops say, well, the cops did. They said that there's going to be no charges put against this old fuck. But I'm like,
so that only pisses people off more.
Yeah.
Yeah. That pisses people off more because we see it all the time that, like, people would just get off that they can treat us any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have no choice. We have no choice in the matter, so it makes people think, yeah, everything is racial.
Yeah, and
like, you know, we have everybody that we know that come to us like, why don't we just be equal? Why can't we just be equal? You know, the problem with saying that is only you guys can say that. Only you guys can say, oh, well, we should just be equal. I hate everybody equally, blah, blah. We can't do that because you won't let us be equal. You know, the same things that happen to us don't happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is people won't recognize that, and they don't want to recognize it for their own selfish agendas. So that thought of racism and prejudices that keeps going. It doesn't stop until things start to get better. Until, like, people are being more held accountable for crimes against, you know, folk. Even if it doesn't have to do with race, like if people could just become more held accountable for it when these type of situations pop up, then maybe we'll see some fucking some sort of change. But we're not going to. When every time you look up, to get off of shooting black people or Asian or whatever.
Well, everything has a corruptionness to it. Like everything you just said, yes, I would love that. But here's another thing too. Would media cover it if that started happening? Media is very, very biased
That's
machine.
exactly what it is. We know, you know, that the media does certain things or whatever. But what can we do about it? Because the only thing we can tell people to do is, okay, well, stop watching Fox News. You know,
why is it got to be Fox News? So,
because
no
Fox
offense.
News
all of
is
them,
the biggest,
all of them
opponent.
suck. MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, they're all the same, and they're all fucking shit. Now, branch off of that. CBS, ABC, NBC, all your major networks, they're all biased because they get paid by different lobbyists to leave out or not do it.
So it's
and
the
they're
same
trying to
thing we
sell.
were talking about, is we've been trying to get freaking money out of politics.
I hold all politicians and all media accountable for their actions. Me personally.
All right.
Because
I gotta go ahead and get out of here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, anybody who would like to talk more about this or want to leave a comment, please go to our Facebook page, website, everything you want to. You can also give us a call at 314-403-0151 with our Google number. And we'd like to hear what anybody else has to say about this. All right, we'll post it on the show, or we'll just listen to it and talk about it. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to the Miscellaneous Podcast. You can find this podcast on almost all podcast platforms and on YouTube. To contact the show, send your emails to miscellaneouspodcast17@gmail.com. You will also find us on Twitter at PJ Miscellaneous, and you'll find them on Facebook at Facebook/Miss MISC Podcast.